look healthy because you never know.
Whew, what's going on,
So
guys?
yeah.
Okay, I mean, we have
Feel
the
pretty good
definition,
about
two
this.
definitions of healthy.
And what's your definition of healthy?
Yeah, I mean, definition of healthy is like,
Definition of healthy is what
I think you're
exactly?
being more specific. Maybe you want like a
Yeah.
person because I do work in the medical field, so I know that someone who looks healthy is not always healthy. So I prefer someone who wants a healthy lifestyle and wants to their partner rather than just okay. And then so I'll still ask, like, is she someone you would approach?
no, but I really like her skin tone though. Like, your skin tone's my favorite.
Thank
The
you.
dark chocolate, yeah, I love it. Yeah. And you did your makeup.
Chocolate, all that other stuff they say. That's what it's supposed to be.
Okay, so you would approach her, or
Yeah, like maybe we can go see a movie, yeah. But something like that, yeah.
okay. All right.
Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and
Okay,
abide by
so
community
we have our
guidelines.
next lady here. Your name, how old you are, what you do, why you popped your balloon.
Oh wait, why would I even do anything like this?
The other day at work, technical support, basically. And I also model.
You know some model
my
too.
balloon because I really didn't like how you said that term. Because there is an actual definition of health and fitness and how it works, and yours is a little bit more superficial. I work out, and I know that these ladies work out, so that's one thing that we connected with speaking here. And I just thought that was a little shallow. Just to me.
That's okay. That's how you took it.
No,
For me, it's like you got muscle mass. You got the curves, right, to support the habit.
Sun on my face, wind in my feathers.
So you got to worry about like two.
Create your own sunshine with Jergens Natural Glow plus Firming Baby Moisturizer and smooth on your summer tan.
I feel like I did everything I was supposed to do. I made my food, and I was able to get everything situated. I'll be ready for work tomorrow. And iOS, Android, all that other stuff. Let me see. There we go. So, oh man. I feel like I'm actually doing this just for shits and giggles. I'm not going to be on for long. Probably going to do 30 minutes of this anyway. And after that, I'll just go straight home too. So that's what it is. Well, not straight home. I'll just go to bed. Oh boy, oh boy. So, Laura Games, how you doing? How you doing? Laura Games YTB. Welcome to the stream. How's life treating you? Oh, jeez. I think I've actually did a lot more tonight than I actually did for the last few days. Although I should have been cutting the grass earlier today, though. But clearly, I have my priorities all over the place. But I will tell you that I do apologize for not streaming, because normally my whole thing was I would probably do it once or twice a week, sporadically, on a more consistent basis. But unfortunately, I had some very strange personal situations that's going on, and it's still an ongoing issue, but it's family related. But I just only hope that everything kind of goes perfectly well. But either way, while everything else is going on, nothing really special is really taking root. But I've also decided to go ahead and take the liberty of making use of the YouTube Shorts and do some food reviews, particularly when it comes to doing food that I feel like,
Absolutely, and that's
well, particularly when it comes to food that I really like to consume and eat. So I'm pretty sure if you guys actually looked at my earlier videos, you've probably seen like me doing reviews on some of the on the little situation with the McDonald's CEO and the Archburger. So I decided to try it myself, followed by the Whopper, Wendy's, Five Guys, and I'm trying to think, and also Sonic as well as DQ. So those are like the ones that I've done so far, and possibly even more that I'll definitely consider doing. But also, I've been getting more accustomed to utilizing the editing tools of YouTube Shorts. So I'm trying my best to make use of it. I've been doing okay so far. Crying Orange, nothing really significant. I mean, there were some family related issues that needed to be sorted out, but other than that, though, I mean, I feel like I'm actually, things are kind of looking up. Things are a little bit better. Also, just recently, I've built a little kitchen island, and it looks really, really good, and I feel real good about it. And I feel very accomplished by it because it was something that, I've been meaning to get for a while and I wanted to assemble it. And I thought it was going to take a long time. I mean, the deadline was going to be on the 1st of April, but I did it in less than a week, primarily because I stopped looking at it as a huge ass obstacle when it comes to assembling things and kind of treated it as though it was just a little pet project. Plus, looking at all the steps were just, how you say, all the steps were just very little. We're just basically just assembling little bits and pieces of all the different parts, and then they'll come together in a bigger format. So it really wasn't as bad. I mean, it was a lot more time consuming. I'll readily admit, but overall, it was definitely quite a rewarding experience. And then once it was all said and done, now there's more space for me to put away to actually put kitchen related utensils and everything. Not to mention, it's actually pretty good that I'm able to pull that off. But what's been going on with you, Crying Orange? What's been going on with you, Laura Games? I mean, not much else is really said over here. Though I would definitely say that I'm just going to be here for about another 30 minutes before I go to work in the morning. That sounds great. I'm not much of a builder, so I wouldn't be able to do any of the construction project. Well, the good thing about it is that if you order something online, you lost 13 pounds already. Nice. What was it based off of? Did you just kind of follow a certain workout regimen, or did you, or was it just some other means or a combination of different factors? Wait a second. Oh, it was just 100% dieting. I see. Wait, I'm trying to figure out what am I missing here. What did I was supposed to come over here to get something. View message. Just on my wife being in full control of my intake. Oh, she tells me to stop. I just stopped. Were you here to show us your kitchen island, I think? No, actually, I just finished it up not too long ago, but I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can actually get it. This is it. Right here. The assembly didn't really take too long, per se. But you can see, like, underneath here, I mean, it's still a big work in progress to try to get everything organized, but I would definitely say that it actually helped out free up a good bit of space in the drawer in this particular plate in this little particular compartment here. Yeah, I did build it up by myself. It was really a two-person job. Unfortunately, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would have been. Really, it's a two-person job, and it required two people to actually work on it. However, if you improvise and you actually kind of rely a little bit more on your surroundings, like what I did, like I've actually used books for support. I've even used like the walls and even like certain furniture in order to kind of keep everything supported so I can get everything in place. And then I had to be very flexible in terms of how I use my body in order to contort and get it all properly assembled. I would probably say and the other thing is this, I didn't use any power tools. I just basically used my grip, just my hands here. And that actually helped out dramatically when it came to being able to assemble the stuff. And I think after I finished it, the last thing that I did was that I've actually just put these little stoppers. Oh wait, it's on this side right here. I have power tools. Oh wait, right here. Let me see. So these are the last bits I have to put in. Well, honestly, power tools, they would have made it, they theoretically would have made it easier, but in this particular case, not so much, because the worst thing that can actually happen with it is the nails could have actually stripped, and then it would be hard for me to really just put everything together, and it would have been just so difficult for me to even put all that together in order to like get everything tucked in. And actually, like the last time that my wife actually had my sister-in-law, they worked on building like the little cabinet together, and that was 3 years ago. It was this thing right here. Came out really nice. But the problem was that for this particular draw right here, this little piece right here was very, very loose to the point where it was sinking down because it had a lot of stuff in it. And that's not supposed to happen. So let me see. I had a Q&A sticker. Huh? Start Q&A. Oh. Did somebody actually try to do a Q&A thing on my end? Yeah, but like the power tool thing, it's not really as beneficial because when they were actually working on it, they were using the power drill and that actually caused like some of the nails to strip. And as a result of that, if they tried to tie it up again, it was going to be very hard. But the problem is that the parts for the drawer was pretty loose. So I pretty much went in. I even have like my own little hand tool with a much bigger thing. So I tried that to see if it was going to be able to help reinforce it. And when I was able to tie it up, I tied up the back part and tied up the front part, and it wasn't as loose as it once was. So right now it's kind of holding in, but we shall see in the coming weeks ahead if it actually gets a little loose. But it is kind of funny because there's a little it feels like a little wooden cardboard looking thing that you place as a shelf in order to like have everything to be supported on. They got these little slits that you need to stick it in and slide it in. You have to screw everything in to tighten it and reinforce it. It took a little while, but overall we were able to get it done. No problem. Besides all that, I already made my food. And I'm only going to be spending another 18 minutes before I still have to buy myself a Torx screw. I feel low now because now I see the power tools at the store. I need to stop and take a look. Wait, how old are you again? A Torx screw? Yeah. I mean, having power tools is actually very good, especially like for, to get things done a little bit faster. Oh, you're 30 now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 40. So I understand, man. I understand, my man. I'm 40 years old. 40 years old. Oh, you know what? I needed to do this. I gotta get this. Oh, you're talking about Block TV, man. Yeah, I remember that. Those were the days. Block TV, man. Those were the days. Those were the days of streaming. Back in the day, they call it broadcasting. And yeah, you were. You were like, I think 12 years old or something when you came on my stream. Oh, jeez. I think you were like 12 years old when I was on the stream. And it was kind of funny because the internet wasn't as bad as it wasn't as strict as it used to be. It's not as strict now, but back in the day it was a little bit more free. And they really didn't have any regulations or restrictions on who gets to go where or who gets to have what online. So all that was just part of it. Yeah. Well, everything was new back then. I mean, shoot, it was my first time trying a live stream service, but it was good that not a lot of people were actually on the internet at the time. Well, it's not just that, but the internet was still very young. So it wasn't like there was a major global interaction with people and people were very connected. So it was still relatively new with so many people trying to take advantage of a live streaming service. On top of that, YouTube was still fairly fresh. Well, that's another thing. If you were trying to look for information on how to buy stocks on the internet, good luck with that, because you would have to browse through. If it's not Google, if it wasn't Bing or MSNBC or any other, I mean, or MSN or any other um, search engine network or search engine. Yeah, I think we all could have probably been pretty wealthy back in the day if we took a lot of risk, especially when it came to like Bitcoin and the like. And but you know what? The other thing is that the internet was still so young at the time that it was just kind of difficult to even imagine what it was like for it's insanity thinking that kids nowadays the internet is a regular part of their life, like they don't remember the time without it. Oh yeah, that's actually something, that's actually a very poignant statement to make, because I if I had children, I I can't really fathom what it's like to be a father, to be a parent, where your children are exposed to technology, where all of their attention has gravitated towards your tablet, a kid's tablet or a regular tablet, while where they're watching reruns of all of these brain rot programs that's brought up from YouTube or the internet. Um, but then and then they still have a couple of gems nowadays. I'll tell you this: the first time I had a computer was 1999, and ever since then I was so enthralled with the idea of just going on the internet, looking up stuff randomly. Hey, Neutral, what's going on with you, man? I'm doing fine. Me and Orange is just talking to each other, just having a little conversation, reminiscing about the past. You remember having, and we were just talking about the past, particularly when it comes to the internet way back when. I'm just talking about how it's fairly difficult to even imagine what it's like to have children, and you have to have them occupy their time with the internet pretty much in their face all the day, all night. It's just really hard for me to imagine that, because I'm not a parent. I don't have children, so I can't really fathom that. But one could imagine the difficulty it is to actually have children with a very short attention span nowadays, and their attitudes and everything have dramatically changed. It's just going to be something that is relatively hard to navigate. Right now, the time is 10:17. So it's 10:17 right now. It'll be 10:30 in about 13 minutes. What about you, in Argentina? How's it looking out there? I have a 22-year-old in my D&D group, and talking to her as well, I was like giving 90s references, like saying, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, she doesn't get it. Wow. Damn, that is pretty old. Maybe you should maybe you should mention Terminator. If she does not know Terminator, just say the robot guy with a funny voice in Mortal Kombat 11. Maybe that'll help. Like when you try to describe a character trope, she just straight is like, who? Huh? Who? No, I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. I remember the age. Yeah, you remember the age of action stars. So do I. And it's probably gonna be funny if you were to talk to any Gen Alpha kid and ask them about action stars back in the day. I wonder who they really would look at nowadays as an action star. Would they look at somebody like Fiction, the guy from the internet do a lot of stunts, or would they look at, or would they think of Sylvester Stallone, or maybe they're thinking about John Wick or something like that. I have no idea. I think it's Marvel. Yeah. Or it could be John. I mean, they might be thinking about John Wick. They might hear about John Wick or Jason Statham or Liam Neeson. Those are probably the ones you want to think about. Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about, because the superhero popularity has dramatically increased since then, so things have actually changed a whole lot. This man is big, buff, and masculine. Isn't it fucking sick? Nah, I mean, it's a change in ideas. I mean, you should show them cartoons back in the '80s. You should show them like GI Joe. That would be something that people might be very surprised by because they got guys that's built like this. Man, I thought FaZe Clan was a tough was like was a very big buff masculine group of boys. Huh? FaZe Clan? Who the fuck is that? Old Disney references. Oh boy. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Orange. Do you, if you bring that up, does it actually cause your D&D story? Does it cause your D&D game to get interrupted? And does it slow down the process of you continuing your journey in your D&D game? I'm just curious because if she doesn't get any of those Disney references, then I will say that you might have to create a separate one where you're going to have to look at her as an isekai character. Oh. Huh. Well, actually, you can use modern day anime too if you want. Maybe that would probably help out as well. Yeah, that's probably the only thing you can do. Well, yeah, I understand you. I understand you perfectly. Yeah, I get it. I get it. That would have to be something. It's crazy. This message is held for review. Oh, Alex Kiss. B&O to Sherrill. Spectacular, marvelous voice. Pretty. Huh. Okay, so this Alex Kiss guy. Спасибо большое, братишка. Как дела? Basically, everyone doesn't know what's going on at all times. People have the attention span of a gnat nowadays, but that's only because of the devolution of society. I mean, I can't really. There's not much else I can really say about it because it's just troubling. I would say. I would argue it is pretty troubling. Um, Да, я говорю по-русски. Я скажу по-русски. Братишка, что ты делаешь? I feel like a grumpy old man because I'm constantly talking about social media, the internet like a plague. Don't be. This will be a golden opportunity for you to be the wise guy, the wise. Hua, I could barely remember speaking enough Mandarin. And you know the funny thing about it? Hold that thought. I actually. Yeah, просто спасибо. Отлично, отлично. Молодец. Oh, I haven't really spoken Mandarin in a long time, but I actually bought a book on speaking Mandarin, and I haven't been able to. Что? Что ссоришь? Что ты сказал? Нету секрета. Нет, да, ну, нет, no секрета. Нету секрета. Это не секрет. And look, even my Russian is still kind of tacky, so I can't even speak Russian as clear as I used to. So it's been rusty. Like I used to be on a Russian version of Facebook. I've been on VK for a long time, but I never been able to really improve the way I want to. And I used to watch a lot of Russian speaking movies, but I've kind of actually stopped it in a good way, since then. And it's been kind of a pain in the ass for me. But I'm trying to relearn languages though, but I haven't really been consistent with it this year. So I actually have books in Spanish. I have a few books in Mandarin, and I actually have some books in Russian. So trying to get back into learning all of these languages is like I'm preoccupied with everything else, especially with my work. When did I learn to speak Russian? It was a long process, man. I mean, I'll tell it like this. I didn't start speaking Russian. I didn't really start learning Russian until I was in my college years. And there was a friend of mine that that I used to hang out with, and he was like really big in the history, particularly when it comes to the Soviet era. Um, I'm very good to see what happens when the generation after us is no longer the majority voter base. When you say that, what are you talking about? Will the millennials become boomers? I wonder. Oh, everybody's going to become old and ancient. Because if you start saying phrases like "back in my day," then you're going to get fucking old. That's a fact. I'm very curious to see So let's see what country I'm from. I'm from the United States, Alex. What part of Russia are you from? Are you from the Bashkir Mountains, Bashkortostan? Are you from maybe a Russian-speaking country like Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Georgia, or maybe you are part of Russia, like maybe Pyam or Skol, or maybe Ivantivka, possibly, or Saint Peter, or any other place, or Kursk. Oh, you're from Armenia. Nice. What's up? My Armenian brothers. My Armenian brother. How's it over there in Armenia? But I think that, well, I would say this, like the majority, because millennials are becoming, the the older generation. And it's funny, like me, we're part of that bridge between the Gen X, where people still did not everybody had access to computers and phones, to us being the generation that has learned to adapt to newer things like computers and technology and all that other jazz. Whereas the subsequent generations after us, many of them have adopted technology at the beginning of their birth, at a very young age. Very rare to have an American speak Russian. Believe it or not, like they got little small communities where I am, and also in other parts, that have people that's actually from places like Ukraine or Russia. And actually, in my particular line of work, I got a friend of mine that's directly from Russia. He actually married an American woman, and they have 2 kids together. And he's a chill ass dude. He's actually one of my really good friends. Um, and he's a big fan of SpongeBob too. And I look at him sideways. I'm like this. I heard that Jay-Z's don't even understand the job for this in hybrid. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I would definitely say that it's more like Gen Z people. They tend to be a lot um more like I would say politically active in terms of where they want to work. They want to work at a place where they feel like they have the flexibility to what's this? I kiss you and have a nice day, my sweet bunny. You take care of yourself too, Alex. It's nice to see you. Millennials just accepted whatever they could get has been super detrimental to the job market. So I would say that I'm not going to disagree with that statement, because millennials, our generation, we were pretty much conditioned in the same way as Gen X and everything else when it comes to like a structure in terms of like work cultures, capitalistic structure, and that type of stuff. We've been very conditioned into believing that, we still follow that old school way of work really hard and build a sense of decorum and such. Gen Z, they tend to be a little less controlled in terms of, in Gen Alpha, they tend to be less controlled about job opportunities and everything, and they see their sense of worth tied to whatever job they work at. If they don't see that there is a value, if they don't see like they're being valued by the company, they can just go to another place. So, but it's just all over the place though, because now you have to deal with that. You also have to deal with the fact that there's also AI being incorporated into everything. And of course, their level of cynicism has grown so exponentially to the point where they feel as though that they might have to just check out eventually, or many of them just pursue other opportunities in order to build, build revenue and build like a sense of purpose in their life. These are people that really want to make sure that their hobby really allows them to live comfortably. And a lot of them are very tech savvy, and they can actually take that opportunity when they go on the internet and they find careers through social media, whether you're talking about YouTube or back in the day it was TikTok, so Instagram and a bunch of other, anyway, in order to get extra sources of revenue. Which I find very fun. I mean, there's really not much to say about that other than the fact that, although I would say I've only recently realized that a lot of younger people have the, oh, I don't plan to live past 26 kind of mindset. Yeah, it's the doom reality aspect of things that's really coming into play. And it's sad, but it's understandable where they're coming from. I mean, right now they're seeing that the world is getting very bleak nowadays and it's not getting any better. And I can understand that. I mean, many of them might see it as war is becoming a lot more. It's probably a draft might be coming. We might see an economic downturn to the point where it's going to be similar to Cyberpunk 2077 possibly. Can we please live in precedented times? I'm sorry, man, but that portal has been shut a long time ago. I don't think we're ever going to see that particular place. I mean, for that to really happen, it's going to require a bunch of very strong-willed people to literally fight and destroy an entire system. Destroy an entire system and uproot it. Once that's happened, they can start and rebuild again. I would like to be whelmed all the time. I would like to be whelmed all the time. Yeah. World War One and World War II had similar conflicts during before World War got plunged into a world war. Yes. And the only difference now is that it seems to me that it's a possibility and probably far more prevalent that the superpower that was once considered to be the inspiration of humanity and around the world is now considered to be the villain in this particular arc. And that's going to be something that we're all going to have to accept the fact on, possibly. While we're still while we're still trying to find a way in order to find an identity that this country wants to be. Kind of sad, actually. What a sad world we live in. Pretty damn sad. All the way through. But it's probably one of those things where we have to live in hope. I feel like the world's going to become less connected, but each region is going to split up into their own block. That's actually a very poignant statement. It's highly likely that it's going to be the case. I don't think there's any denying of that. I don't think there's any doubt about that either. Oh, damn. Now I remember what I was supposed to do, but it's a little too late for me to go back into the kitchen and just snack on some cold food on a snack. Okay. Hold it. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, young Ronald? Good to see you. Good to see you. How's life treating you, my friend? Yes, there was a particular period in time in which we all had this globalized level of connectivity with each other. But, alas, that's no longer the case. Well, I decided to go ahead and stream on here. And hopefully that the stream was actually going to be quite entertaining. But, I wasn't expecting to stay up a little past the 30-minute mark that I said I was going to do. But I'm about to go to bed myself in about another 30 minutes. And respectively taking care of everything that I need to take care of. We're just besides that, I'm just chilling and chatting and interacting with everybody, getting a chance to talk to you guys. And you know what's really funny? I've been on when's the next food review? So I did one yesterday, right? And it was with Sonic. And it was my first time actually taking advantage of some of the editing software that YouTube has. So I was very surprised by it. And I said to myself, man, it's not as bad as I thought it could have been. So it kind of now it's kind of motivating me to actually go out in public and possibly do a food review and not allow myself to just languish. So I already did one yesterday, and there's probably going to be another one sometime later this week, or maybe another one next week. It just kind of depends. The problem is that money is definitely going to be a little too tight, so I'm trying not to spend enough. I'm trying not to spend a lot of money. So that's the thing with me. But I do like eating at the fast food places, and I might even branch out and even consider eating at other places like restaurants and such, but that's going to require me to kind of build my financial means. You know what I mean? Because it's expensive. I will admit, it is pretty expensive relative to what I'm doing. And I do make pretty adequate money every month, but it's not enough to say that I can splurge on food all the time. And if I do, I better make sure that I have more than enough money in order to tide me over. Hold on. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, tell me about it. Like, when I went to Sonic last night, I ordered a triple smasher with some crinkle fries, a large meal, by the way. Oh yeah. That means food is going to go up significantly, and we're definitely going to be seeing a very, very Hunger Games style event that's going to cause everybody to get extremely angry. But it seems like people are going to be heavily misinformed too. But like I said, when it comes to like the food and when it comes to like basically the food for fast food and everything, I was at Sonic. And I've actually got myself a large meal, triple smasher, crinkle fries, um, those little poppin' cheddars, 8 count, and what else they actually have, and also a large drink. And I have to admit, the food was really good, and I really enjoyed it, but I pretty much paid around 20 something dollars for all that. Like, even if you go to a Burger King or McDonald's, they don't offer value meals, and they're not very consistent with it. If they do. And the problem is that they're pricing out all the working class people, or the poor people as well, out of fast food. Because now they're going to start making gourmet fast food and rebrand it in the same way how lobster used to be a poor person food. and they're going to rebrand fast food for wealthy people who can afford it. And it's kind of funny that I read an article about it saying that now a lot of these fast food places are targeting people that make $100,000 a year or more. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not talking about families, just people, individual people. If they make over $100,000 a year, that's who they're catering to. And that is very sick. That's pretty damn sick. I'm actually confused. What's the end game for rich people? Well, you see, that's the problem. See, the problem is that they're like a bottomless pit. They will continue to find whatever means necessary to keep making as much money as they can. And you're right. How they're going to be able to maintain their financial means and lifestyle if and only if they still rely heavily on the working class people to buy into their product. Because it seems to me right now, they don't seem like they give a shit about it. Because it seems to me their attitude is, as long as they have wealthy people who's willing to spend a lot of money, like if you were to go to Switzerland or something and they have a bunch of wealthy suitors who want to spend an arm and a leg on a $20 burger, and I definitely mean just a burger itself, that's like half the size of a fucking Whopper. As long as they can spend money on that, they're okay. They already have an audience. Whereas everybody else, they can just go ahead and quote unquote eat cake and be happy about it. And they own nothing. So they don't keep finding ways to nickel and dime people while trying to take everybody's fucking health care and everything else away. But that's all part of the possibility of a revolution starting. So don't be too surprised when there's going to be a lot of people that are very fed up with it. And then it's going to turn into a cataclysmic nightmare for wealthy people. So this is going to be an ongoing issue. Especially with the system that we have right now. But I got a strange feeling that, nowadays it seems like people don't necessarily have a negative, it seems like more people have a negative worldview on capitalism. And being very skeptical about it. And that's a good thing. Because the system that we have right now doesn't really benefit everybody. It creates the illusion of benefiting everyone, but it doesn't. You only get just enough, and nowadays you can barely even scrape by with that. That also includes elderly people. And then another thing is, they expect you to have children. So how do you actually tell people that's already suffering that they need to have children? So you really don't want, they're giving people inconsistent thing. In economics YouTube, truly a free market and an indication of a great economy is when you can say, fuck you, I'll go down the street. Well, nowadays, that's even hard too. I mean, many corporations pretty much gobbled up a bunch of small businesses, and guess what? They don't really have any competition, even in that regard. Nope. We don't really have that. Unless you can afford it and you're a wealthy person. Yep. And that's a very... You're so correct on that, man. And that's a very conservative estimate. That's a very conservative number, too. Because it's a possibility that... Well, actually, no, I didn't say conservative. I mean like a liberal number. Because... You say two. What if it's operating? What if it's like more than 2 or 3 places? What if it's like maybe 4, 5, 6, or 7 places, or it's companies that all own the same 3 chain that actually own like a lot of the stuff that controls like all the other chains? I was actually kind of surprised how Coca-Cola owns a lot of shit. I was surprised and taken aback by it. Oil, that's another one too. Hmm. Nick Hanauer did talk about this 11 years ago. Was there a video online that I could probably take a look at and listen to it? Because if that's the case, then he was pretty much one of those classic capitalists that really believe in the idea of the free market. But about how the web continues to widen, it creates revolution. Yeah. Oh, it's a TED Talk. Yep. But I wonder if that revolution is going to be a spark. I wonder what the spark is for that revolution. We've actually had moments where it seemed like it was actually brewing, but maybe in 2 years or 3 years' time, it might actually change. But we are seeing some cracks in it wholeheartedly. Oh no, they don't care, because a lot of these guys like to believe that it's an island of itself. That bastard, above all things, he had it really fucking good with a reputation. He may have been considered the quirkiest fucking businessman in the world, but he still would have been a quirky, memorable person had he not dipped his toes into all the bullshit that he's doing right now. If he stuck with his environmentalism advocacy, he would have probably been a revered figure still, even to this day, with environmentalism and futuristic ideas when it comes to technology. But now the whole thing blew wide open about how much of an incompetent fool he is. Well, yes, it is overpriced, but also Tesla was pretty much the pioneer of electric vehicles. And if not, the ones that popularized it, but now they have other companies across the world that's actually competing against it and even perform even better than them. It's artificial. It's very artificial, because Tesla does a whole lot more than just EVs. You know, they also do rockets and everything else. And they're losing money, yes. They're losing money. But it is about gaming the system too. But for some reason, people are very enamored by that shit, as opposed to questioning the legality behind it and seeing if they can actually stop that shit from happening. But unfortunately, people are just very fixated on thinking that wealthy people are out for their best interests, and they love them so much. It's kind of funny though, because it seems to me like the two things you can't really critique is capitalism and Christianity in this country. Because if you do both, if you criticize both of them, they might consider it to be anti quote unquote American, which doesn't make any fucking sense anyway. It's pathetic. They're highly pathetic. It's really pathetic, though. Like, they have people that literally glaze these guys like they think they care about them, and they really don't. They love your money. That's the reason why when it comes to Amazon, the only conclusion I have is that rich people are as dumb as every other person. Oh, yeah, that's true. Remember, a lot of them actually paid their way through a lot of things, and some of them got really, really lucky. You know, I would definitely say, like, Musk, he wasn't the brightest person in college, apparently. He wasn't very smart when it comes to technology. He's a very... Let's put it this way. He reminds you of Pirate Software. I'm not sure if you know who that is. That's the guy whose dad used to work, whose dad was very well known at Blizzard, and for some reason he capitalized on it and he became very popular on Twitch and all that though, and social media. Yeah, Thor. And now people are actually deconstructing or looking into his history and realize that his programming skills are very subpar, and he's very shitty. So you can see that there's a bit of a similarity between him and Musk. But the only difference is that, but as far as Musk is concerned, that's a sick little bastard who actually overstayed his fucking welcome here in this country and his visa. Ow. I'll tell you what. Try not. You won't be able to send the. I won't be able to see the link on in the chat right now. But once this stream is over, in about 10 minutes, and once it's fully uploaded, send the link into the comment section. Then I'll be able to see it. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, so that's pretty much Musk in a nutshell. So he's pretty much he reminds me of Pirate Software in a weird way, somewhat. And this is going to be a weird time for a lot of us. So the next couple of months is going to be a pain in the ass. The next couple of months will be a big pain in the ass to deal with. And that's going to be really haughty and very difficult. I just know that despite all that, I mean, there's some good things supposed to happen in the next couple of months. Particularly, I'm supposed to be getting a promotion. Every time I hear a rich person talk about being poor, I immediately do a search on their family. And I would assume that you come across the fact that, oh, and not to mention those humble beginnings about them becoming successful business people. Usually they have investors that usually invest in their products immediately after. It wasn't based on taking out a loan from a bank or something like that and taking a huge risk every single damn time. It's always that humble beginning narrative that usually is part of the capitalism 101 story. Yeah, always a family member that backed them. So they don't really know what it's like to really struggle or dealing with any kind of overcoming adversity and having to deal with the idea of dealing with businesses that's going to that you take pride in and actually risk. But I would definitely say that the United States had its run. Which country is going to be the next superpower is going to be up in the air. Now, granted, if everything goes according to plan or projected to be the case, it's very possible that we will see and in that regard, mother, go to bed. Have a good night, guys. Take care.